this is an interesting point because he likes to say Joe Biden is too old and he can't remember things. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She's a good person. She cares about her community. She's proud to be Somali, but she's also proud to be a Minnesotan. She's proud to be American. That person is bad. They're against you. I'm the only one who can save you. That's what he's doing. She protested him in Michigan. Ilhan Omar has never gone to his rally in Minnesota. So he is, so he's the one showing signs of age and, maybe even senility. This is why I encourage people to listen to Somali TV. You don't have to be Somali to watch Somali TV. You just have to, want to get good news, right?
Attorney General Ellison, welcome to Somali TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to ask you a few questions. How do you feel about the statements made by Donald Trump regarding Congresswoman Ilhan Omar? And what impact do you believe they have on the public discourse in Minnesota?
Well, number one, just for people who may not know, Donald Trump was in St. Cloud, Minnesota a few days ago, and he made a series of ugly comments about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar is a friend of mine, but more important than being my personal friend, she is an excellent congresswoman. She brings money back to the district. She's sensitive to the needs of her constituents. She's a listener. She's unafraid to speak out and speak as she feels on the issues she feels are important. And so Donald Trump is using a very old trick in American politics: racism. Racism. Simple as that. He knows that a lot of the people who attend his rally may not know anything about. First of all, they don't like women. They don't like white women. They don't like Somali women. They don't like black women. They don't like women at all. Or they like them okay, but they feel that they only should be able to, have babies and clean the kitchen, right? They don't feel women should be in leadership. So then he doesn't, and then we know he's a racist. I mean, he said Africa was shithole countries. He said a lot of nasty things. He's praised the neo-Nazis. These people are dedicated to racial subordination. That's the purpose of their group. And so we know he's a racist. So he is always going to be hostile to her because she's a woman in leadership, black woman, and she's Muslim. She wears her hijab, which is both religious and cultural. He doesn't like that. So he's always going to try to manipulate the crowd with things that they don't know. They don't know about, Islam. They're not comfortable with women in power. They're not. So he's going to use all those things to sort of make himself popular. This is the very definition of what they call a demagogue. A demagogue. See, this is an old thing. This is an old trick. Somebody goes to the crowd and they'll be like, that person is bad. They're against you. I'm the only one who can save you. That's what he's doing. He's manipulating race and sex and people who are born in another country to win over support for himself.
Did he say some false statements in his recent rally in St. Cloud?
Well, what I would say is I have a list of some of the things that he said. He said that if he doesn't win, the country's going terrible. If she does win, the country's going to go in a bad direction. He said false things. I have a list of some of the things that he said.
He also said that Ilhan Omar participated some of his rallies and then she.
Oh, that's not true. This is an interesting point because he likes to say Joe Biden is too old and he can't remember things, but he's talking about Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, the only other Muslim woman in Congress from the state of Michigan. She protested him in Michigan. Ilhan Omar has never gone to his rally in Minnesota. So he is. These are, so he's the one showing signs of age and maybe even senility. And so he needs to stop talking bad about Joe Biden because he's dealing with the same problem. But so it's untrue.
And actually, Joe Biden is not a candidate anymore. I don't.
He's
know
not a candidate anymore.
About him.
Well, that's a good question. Except for I think that a lot of his supporters keep he wants to keep them angry, keep them upset, and a lot of these folks they support Trump because he makes them afraid, and then he offers himself as the only solution. This is demagoguery, as I mentioned before, and that depends upon misinformation and low information.
In your opinion, how does this type of negative rhetoric affect the communities represented by Congresswoman Omar, particularly in terms of inclusivity and safety?
Well, it separates Americans from Americans. See, here's the thing about the United States. Our country's not based on a color or a race or a religion. Our country is based on a constitution. If you believe in the Constitution, that's what makes you American. There might be other countries where everybody in that country is the same religion, same ethnicity, and that makes them a member of that society. Not this one. This society, much like the society that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam established in Mecca, where he said anyone could be a member of this society, even people of different religion. He said, all you got to do is abide by these rules of behavior,
yes,
and you're a member of this society. So United States, in many ways, is very similar to that because we are a society based on belief, based on commitment to a certain set of ideals, liberty, justice for all. And so what does Donald Trump's rhetoric do? He divides people. And if people are separated, then they don't know each other. And if they don't know each other, then it's easy for a demagogue leader to tell them the worst things about each other, right? So a demagogic leader can say, those people over there, they're bad. And if nobody knows those people over there, then we got to believe whatever he says because we trust him and we don't know them. So when he separates people like that, it creates lack of charitable feeling, lack of affinity, lack of understanding, lack of desire to cooperate. And that's why many of us believe that Donald Trump is an existential threat to American democracy.
So what steps can political leaders take to ensure accountability for spreading misinformation and fostering division as seen in Trump's recent comments?
Well, this is why I encourage people to listen to Somali TV. You don't have to be Somali to watch Somali TV. You just have to, want to get good news, right? You want to try to get some proper and correct information. And so, I would say that you all, from these cameras and microphones, are correcting the disinformation. This is very important. And we need to encourage all media to stop saying that Donald Trump, he's lying. We should just say that's a lie, right? And the good news is they don't cover him like they used to. If this happened 4 years ago, it would be all over the news that he said this horrible thing about Congresswoman Omar. Now, people aren't even really covering it that much because everybody knows nothing he says is really true, So, but you gotta put the word out there. You gotta counter the false narrative. You've got to correct the record constantly, always giving people the truth, whether it helps you or whether it hurts you.
Okay, got it. You just mentioned that Ilhan Omar is your friend as a strong ally of Congresswoman Omar. What message do you want to convey to those who support her and stand against the hate she has faced?
Message number one, she has a primary election, and the last day to vote in the primary is August 13th. You can vote every day from this moment to 8 p.m. on the 13th. And we need people to get out there and vote for Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She's a good person. She cares about her community. She's proud to be Somali, but she's also proud to be a Minnesotan. She's proud to be American, and she's proud to represent us in Congress. She represents everybody, and she cares about everybody.
As you know, Minnesotans, what do you think? How can Minnesotans come together to counteract division, political rhetoric, and create a more unified community, particularly in terms of, particularly in the lead up to the upcoming elections?
Well, let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
So I believe we need to win the election for Kamala Harris and whoever she picks. But I think it's more important even than winning the election on November 5th to win the argument. And what do I mean? I mean that we can get more votes than the other side, fine. But can we actually win over people's hearts and minds? That's the bigger question. And to do that, we've got to have more dialogue, more engagement, build more relationships. We've got to have Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, even atheist people all talking to each other, listening to each other, trying to find ways to respect each other, cooperate with each other. This is very important. And so, it's called solidarity. How can we have human solidarity?
Yes.
Because I believe God put us all here in different nations and tribes so that we would get to know each other, not hate each other. And I believe God knows, who's the best. And that's based on who's the most faithful, who's the most honest, the most truthful, the most helpful, the most compassionate, the most willing to help your neighbor. This is who is the best. This is what I think we need to do. As people like Trump and others try to divide people based on race, religion, ethnicity, and all that, we need to unify people on our common need to, we all love our parents and want to see them age gracefully, right? We all love our children and want to see them have a future.
Sure.
We all want to put food on the table. We all want clean air, clean water. These are things that unify us. These are things that we all need as human beings. So, and it doesn't matter what color, what religion. So we need to build that unified, inclusive society, which I think we are capable of. But there will always be some people who are afraid. Some people are saying, I'm only want to worry about my group. I don't care about other group. We got to go to those people and say, don't be afraid. We care about you, and we care about all of us. And you'll be better off with us than out there on your own and by yourself.
Thank you so very much, and also thank you saying nice and good statements about Somali TV. We're trying our best to spread the reality and the good news for the community. Thank you. It's great being with you. And
watch Somali TV.
Thank you again.